Hey everyone, welcome to Everyday Expressions. I'm Thomas, your guide to navigating the quirks of the English language.
And I'm Emily. Today we're diving into a topic that's both fun and mind bending idioms, or as I like to call them, the spice of English.
The spice of English, huh? Well, I guess that makes us the chefs. So let's start with the basics. Emily, how would you define an idiom for someone who's new to them?
Okay. Idioms are like little puzzles, phrases that don't mean exactly what they say. For example, if I told you, it's raining cats and dogs, you wouldn't grab an umbrella expecting a chihuahua to fall out of the sky.
Although I wouldn't mind a puppy storm once in a while. But yeah, idioms are these expressions we use every day without really thinking about how weird they sound. They make conversations colorful, but if you don't know them, they can be super confusing.
Exactly. Like when I first heard someone say, let's break the ice, I thought, where's the ice and why are we smashing it?
For the record, no ice was harmed in the making of that idiom.
None at all. But seriously, it just means starting a conversation in a friendly way. And it's such a common idiom in everyday life.
You know, Emily, I think idioms are more than just language. They show how creative, and let's be honest, how weird people can be. Like someone somewhere decided, you know what? A super easy task should be called a piece of cake.
Maybe they were just really into dessert. But yes, idioms are a window into culture. And speaking of which, Thomas, do you remember the first idiom you totally misunderstood?
Oh, absolutely. I was in high school and someone told me to hold my horses. I legit thought they meant pretend I had actual horses. So I stood there like this.
No way. Please tell me someone got that on video.
Thank goodness, no. But hey, it taught me a valuable lesson. Context is everything when it comes to idioms.
All right, Mr. Horse Whisperer, let's share a couple of idioms that everyone listening can actually use.
Okay, how about this one? Piece of cake. Like we said earlier, it means something is super easy. For example, that math quiz, total piece of cake.
Love it. And here's another one, break the ice. Like we explained, it's about starting a conversation or making things less awkward. For example, Emily told a joke to break the ice at the meeting
Wait, why is it always your jokes?
because they're better.
So far, we've broken the ice on idioms. See what I did there? And now we're diving into the idioms you can use every single day.
That's right. These are the MVPs of idioms, the ones you'll hear at work, in casual chats, or even when your mom's lecturing you about something. Trust me, they're everywhere.
Oh, you mean like when my mom says, "You're skating on thin ice, Thomas?" Classic mom move.
Exactly. And that one means you're dangerously close to trouble, which checks out for you.
Hey, I'll have you know I'm a model citizen.
Sure you are, buddy.
All right, let's kick things off with one you hear all the time. Spill the beans. Emily, care to enlighten us?
Oh, gladly. Spill the beans means to reveal a secret. Like if you accidentally tell someone about their surprise party, you've spilled the beans.
Wait, was I not supposed to tell you about your surprise party later?
What? You spilled the beans, Thomas.
Kidding, kidding. No surprise party that I know of.
Yeah, right. Okay, here's another one. Under the weather. If someone says, I'm feeling under the weather, it means they're not feeling well. Kind of like having a mild cold or just being off.
Fun fact, it's also a great excuse to get out of things you don't want to do. Like, oh no, I can't go to your cousin's improv show. I'm feeling under the weather.
You're terrible. But hey, it works.
All right, here's a personal favorite. Hit the nail on the head. This one means you've said or done something exactly right. Like, if you explain a tricky concept perfectly, someone might say, you hit the nail on the head.
Which is what I do every time I explain something on this podcast.
Oh, is that so? All right, Miss Perfect, here's one for you. Burning the midnight oil. What's that about?
Ah, a classic. It means staying up late to work or study. Like, I was burning the midnight oil to finish my project.
Also known as every college student's life during finals week. And honestly, midnight oil should be a coffee brand.
You're onto something there. Speaking of coffee, here's another idiom. Wake up and smell the coffee. It's used to tell someone to face reality or pay attention to what's happening around them.
Example, if your favorite sports team is on a losing streak, someone might say, wake up and smell the coffee. They're not making it to the playoffs.
Ouch, too real, Thomas. Too real.
Okay, Emily, here's a fun idea. Rapid fire idioms. I'll say one and you explain it. Ready?
Bring it on.
All right. Bite the bullet.
It means to do something unpleasant or difficult because you have to. Like, I hate the dentist, but I'll bite the bullet and make an appointment.
Nice. Next, the ball is in your court.
Oh, easy. It means it's your turn to make a decision or take action. Like, I gave you the offer. The ball's in your court.
All right, last one. Cut to the chase.
It means to get to the point and skip unnecessary details. Like, stop rambling and cut to the chase.
Which is advice I probably need sometimes.
Sometimes? More like always. So far, we've covered what idioms are and shared some everyday ones to spice up your conversations, but now let's dig into the juicy stuff, where these idioms come from and what they say about culture.
Yeah, ever wonder who was the first person to say break the ice? Like, was there an actual block of ice involved? Or were they just really bad at making friends?
Honestly, it sounds like something that would happen on an awkward first date. But no, this one actually comes from the old days of shipping. Before modern icebreakers, small boats would literally break the ice to clear a path for larger ships. Now, it's all about easing tension in social situations.
Wow, so it went from saving ships to saving awkward parties. What a glow up.
Exactly. And speaking of glow-ups, let's talk about raining cats and dogs.
Oh, I love this one. So, what did people just look out their windows one day and see pets falling from the sky?
Not quite, Thomas. The phrase likely comes from 17th century England, where heavy rain would wash debris, including small animals, into the streets. Gross, but hey, it stuck.
That is equal parts fascinating and horrifying. Thanks for the mental image, Emily.
You're welcome. Okay, your turn. Hit me with a good origin story.
All right, here's a classic. Barking up the wrong tree. This one comes from hunting with dogs. If a dog barked at the wrong tree, it meant the prey wasn't there. Basically, it's like saying, hey, you're wasting your time.
Makes sense. And honestly, I feel like I've been barking up the wrong tree every time I try to put together IKEA furniture without the manual.
Relatable. Okay, here's another fun one. Saved by the bell. You might think it's about boxing, right?
Yeah, the bell rings and the fighter gets a break.
Wrong! It actually comes from the fear of being buried alive in the 1700s. People would tie a string to a bell above ground so they could ring it if they were, not actually dead.
What? That is so creepy and weirdly genius. Imagine being the bell ringer on duty. Like, oh no, not another one.
Yeah, talk about a stressful job.
All right, let's pivot to cultural differences. Idioms aren't just quirky. They tell us a lot about how people see the world. For example, in English, we say piece of cake to mean something's easy. But in Spanish, they say pan comido, eaten bread.
Mm-hmm. So bread is easier than cake? Interesting take.
Hey, carbs are carbs. But it shows how food plays a big role in language. Another example, in French, instead of when pigs fly, they say when chickens have teeth.
I love that. Chickens with braces coming to a farm near you.
And in Chinese, they say add oil to encourage someone like keep going or you got this.
I actually love that one. It's so positive. Imagine someone yelling add oil at a marathon. I'd be like, yes, add it.
Right. It's so visual. I'd be picturing a chef flipping noodles or something.
Okay, here's something to chew on. Idioms can also reflect history, like burning the midnight oil, which we mentioned earlier. It's from before electricity, when people literally burned oil lamps to work late.
And close but no cigar, that comes from old carnival games where cigars were the prizes. If you almost won but didn't, they'd say close but no cigar.
Man, if they gave out cigars today, you'd have a bunch of kids walking around like, hey, I won a prize.
Yeah, not exactly kid-friendly anymore.
So, moral of the story, idioms are like little time capsules. They're weird, wonderful, and give us a glimpse into how people lived and thought.
Totally. And they're also great for confusing people learning English. Like, imagine trying to figure out kick the bucket without context.
Yeah, English teachers everywhere are like, sorry, we don't make the rules.
But hey, that's why we're here, to make idioms fun, not frustrating.
Exactly. All right, folks, let's get to the final part of today's idiomatic adventure. So far, we've talked about what idioms are, everyday examples, their wacky origins and cultural insights. But now, let's get practical. How do you use idioms without sounding like a character in an old movie?
Right, because if you walk around saying, by Jove, or the bee's knees, people might just think you're from 1923.
Exactly. So here's some tips to help you incorporate idioms naturally into your conversations. Emily, kick us off.
Tip number 1, don't overdo it. Idioms are like seasoning. Too much and you ruin the dish.
Oh yeah, like that one friend who's just learned piece of cake and uses it for everything. How's your coffee? Piece of cake. Did you see that movie? Piece of cake. Dude, chill.
Yes, moderation is key. Tip number 2, know your audience. Some idioms might not land if the person you're talking to isn't familiar with them. For example, let the cat out of the bag. If someone doesn't know it means revealing a secret, they might be like, wait, why was the cat in the bag in the first place?
Animal cruelty is no joke, Emily.
Exactly. So if you're talking to non-native speakers or kids, stick to simpler phrases.
Tip number 3, pay attention to context. Idioms can be flexible, but you can't just throw them in randomly. Like imagine someone says, I got a promotion, and you reply, well, that's the last straw. No.
Yeah, that's a one-way ticket to confusing everyone. Tip 4, listen and learn. Pay attention to how native speakers use idioms in conversations, movies, or TV shows. You'll get a feel for when and where to use them.
Ooh, like in The Office, Michael Scott loves idioms. Except he never gets them right. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. Classic.
Yes, bad examples can teach us too. And finally, tip 5, have fun with it. Don't be afraid to experiment. If you mess up, it's no big deal. It's just language, not rocket science.
Unless the idiom is, it's not rocket science, then maybe rethink your approach.
Good point. But seriously, learning idioms is a great way to sound more fluent and connect with people on a deeper level. Plus, they're just fun.
And speaking of connecting, let's wrap this up with a little challenge. Emily and I are each going to pick our favorite idiom and leave it up to you, our amazing listeners, to vote on which one is better. Emily, you first.
Easy. My pick is the ball is in your court. It's sporty, it's decisive, and it's perfect for teamwork vibes.
Oh, come on. Mine's way better. To hit the nail on the head. It's precise, satisfying, and just solid.
Not bad, but is it really as versatile as mine? Listeners, you decide. Leave your votes in the comments.
And while you're at it, share your favorite idioms. Bonus points if they're unusual or from another language. We'd love to hear them.
Before we go, remember that language is a journey, not a destination. Idioms are just one piece of the puzzle that makes communication fun and rich. So keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep laughing along the way.
Well said, Emily. And with that, we're signing off. Thanks for listening, and as always, keep it idiomatic.